Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our episodes or our reviews.
And if you like listening to audiobooks, click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial with Audible.
Also, if you like shopping online, make sure you hit the Rakuten link also in the description.
All right, ready to love season finale.
Yeah, Ready Love season finale. I mean, we down to 5 people. We down to Winter. We down to Anthony. We down to Calfani. We down to Rashid, and we down to Adriana. And choices have to be made today or tonight on the show. Somebody gonna go home, and somebody's gonna stay.
Yep. And so Adriana says, she's excited about her dad coming. She says that he's a therapist and he's a preacher. So he's going to analyze you. He's going to give you the therapist thing. He's going to do the preacher thing. He's going to give it to you both ways.
Yeah, she's like, she's excited that her father's coming. And she really has a tough decision. And she really hopes her dad can help her clear up the decision between Rashid and Calfani.
And Calfani says that during this time he's not had a rivalry with Rashid, but he understands where they are right now. Adriana has to pick between the two of them, but he said he's never done anything with his second place mindset, and he's not getting ready to do it here neither. And what Rashid said is like he really feeling some type of way about this love triangle thing. He feeling some type of way about it. He don't want it like that.
Yeah, he doesn't like it because he went from being Adriana's number 1 to now being, again, Adriana's number 2. And we've seen this a lot in this episode, in this season, where people started out number 1 and they end up being number 2. And, when he didn't know how to keep the momentum or hasn't been able to keep the momentum. And the same thing with, you go back to Denise. Denise was Calfani's number 1 until he came across Adriana. Until they started getting closer. And then he became, and then Adriana became his number 1. Denise became his number 2. So it's a lot of number 2s going on right now. And
in the meantime, we see Winter and Anthony kind of chit-chatting amongst themselves about the predicament that Adriana's in. Basically, it's like, I don't envy her place. She got some decisions to make.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. Everybody giggling and laughing like, okay, what's next? I mean, we can just sit here and watch this thing play out.
Right.
We're going to see how this thing grows. Going to see how it rolls out. And, hey, you know what? Adriana's a tough spot.
And so next we see Rashid talking about the fact that he usually doesn't introduce a girl to his family. It's a big thing to introduce a girl to his family. Like, they have to be, like, really serious. And he wants to be transparent about it. He wants to make sure that him and Adriana, it's an organic thing. Like, he's not trying to force her or anything. And so he meets with her first to talk.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about things, talk about the relationship, talk about where they're at right now, why they got to this place, and how they got to this place, and what can he do, what can he do to move on? Can he become the number 1? Can he basically overtake Calfani? Because Rashid already knows he's in second. He knows him and Adriana's relationship is not what it used to be. So he's feeling the, I don't want to call it pressure, but he understands where the fire's not there that it once was.
Yeah, he says, Adriana, you've been steady as my number 1. That's where you've been. And, in this talk, he was like, I want to talk about us. I don't really want to hear about no other man or what you got going on with that. I know there's another guy in the picture, but I'm not, like, really trying to hear it. But Adriana explains that, I got 2 sides going on. Like, I like you a lot, and I like Calfani a lot. And it's 2 different feelings that I'm getting. That she can't really explain. Later on she says the same thing. Can't really explain what the difference is. But like, Rashid, you're safe. It's like a safety. Like, I'm comfortable there. It's something I'm familiar with. And Calfani is a different feeling. It's not something I'm familiar with. It's just a different kind of, that we use this word a lot during the season, different kind of vibe, a different kind of energy that she can't really explain. But she said there's nothing wrong with either one. It's just, they're different. Yeah, they're
different, and she likes both of them. And so she doesn't know which to choose. It's like she's having her cake and eating it too.
Yeah, and Rashid says, she says she could feel Rashid kind of pulling himself back because, like you said, he knows that he's number 2. He knows it's not where it was before, and his thing is, I don't want to be out here in a boat without a paddle. I don't want to be out here by myself. So, like, where are you at? And she's basically still like, I'm still torn.
Yeah, and he was like, yo, if I don't have a shot, let me know.
Right.
If I don't have a chance, look, I don't have a dog in this hunt or in this race, let me know so I can go ahead and just bow out gracefully and you can go be with Calfani.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yo, you kind of give it up because when I said this to Calfani, it was like something different. Like, hey, I don't want to be number 2. I'm going to fight for you.
Yeah. Then they get to that later on.
Yeah.
But, so, first family member we see show up, we see Winter's sister Keisha show up.
Yeah, Keisha shows up and, Keisha and Winter sitting there having a conversation. She asked Winter, what do you like about Anthony? And just chit-chat about Anthony. Good to see you. And then we see Anthony walking around the corner all happy, giddy.
Which Winter had just said, I like him because he's funny. He's fun to be around. We mesh really well. We get along. He basically put a smile on my face. And he did. He came around the corner smiling.
Happy,
ready, joke, whatever.
That's what I like about Anthony. He's a happy guy, man. He's always willing to be who he is and have fun and enjoy the moment.
And so they greet each other with a hug. Keisha's very welcoming to Anthony, and he's the same. And so they sit down and have a little chit chat. And she says, "So Anthony, I heard you were born and raised in the church." He was like, "Yep. Born and raised in the church. My dad's still a superintendent there." And we got a good little chuckle out of this.
A little chuckle out of that because she's like, "You Kojic?" I'm like, man.
She said, "Oh, your dad's superintendent. Did I mean you Kojic?" So for y'all that don't know, Kojic is a Pentecostal denomination of the Christian faith. And it stands for Church of God in Christ, of which we are a part. So that made me chuckle. I was like, because that's the first thing I think when I hear, oh, he is superintendent. I think Church of God in Christ too.
But she's like, nah, he's like, nah, I'm Baptist.
He said, I'm greater Bethel, primitive Baptist.
Primitive Baptist.
And she was like, oh, we Baptist too.
Right.
Which, that's how I grew up. I grew up Baptist, so I can feel them so much on that. But I was like, oh, this is cute. This is cute.
I thought it was interesting. That was funny, because you got two basically church kids who are interacting with one another and showing that they do care about each other. And that goes into her next line of questioning with Anthony, because she asked Anthony, have you ever been in love?
Well, first she asked, what do you like to do to have fun?
What you like to do
and he was like, I was surprised by this. He said like the roller skate. Yeah. Like I was trying to picture him on roller skates. That's funny. But he also said, she said, do you like music? He said, oh yeah, I like music. Karaoke's my thing. And she was like, oh, well you and Winter, y'all get along because she like to do music. She like music. She like the karaoke thing.
He like he's a karaoke king.
Yeah, so they vibe doing that. And then, like you said, she asked.
Yeah, she asked him, have you ever been in love?
And he was like, no. He gave the same explanation. One thing I can say about Anthony is he's consistent.
Yeah.
He's consistent. And he gave the same explanation again that I haven't been in love because before I was so focused on football that when a woman, came to me and wanted me to be committed to her, I was committed to football and I didn't want to give her the wrong impression. And, she talking about being married and having kids, and he knew that he wasn't at that place. So he was upfront and honest with him. And so in that respect, he said he's never been in love. And, Winter says that she feels like maybe he's just been afraid. He pulled himself back. And that's what I think too. I think he has loved women before. Maybe he has been in love, but maybe he doesn't want to frame it that way. And maybe for him, being in love is being committed, and so in that respect, he hasn't been in love.
I think you said the last thing you said, being in love, being committed. I think when he said that, he was meaning like, I can't give you my all in all because right now I'm putting my all in all into my NFL career. I'm trying to put everything into this to be in a league for X amount of years, to make the team, to be on whatever case may be, wherever he was at in that part of his career, and he wasn't willing to commit any of that to the being in love with a woman, you know what I'm saying? So he wanted to put love, everything he had, into his career, which was the sports. And I mean, I can understand that. So he had women out there, but it wasn't really love. It was more or less infatuation and more or less, you here, but I don't really want to love you.
And so they talked about, well, can you see marriage? How do you feel about that? And he says, I would take marriage step by step.
Yeah.
I do. I can see myself getting there. But basically, again, he's like, when I be there, I'm gonna be all the way in. And he says that off scene, he says, I'm not gonna be rushed. Ain't nobody gonna rush me. It's gonna be what it is.
And I understand that though, from that point, because he seemed like the type of guy when he commits to something, he want to commit it for the long haul, and he want to make sure it's correct. And so his step-by-step process is that, you know what, we want to dot every I, we want to cross every T, because you got to realize who he's with. He's with Winter, who's been married before, and he doesn't want to be the next guy to marry her, and it doesn't work out. And he has never been married, so he wants to make sure when I go step by step and I do it correctly, that when I get married, it's the last time.
Yeah, but at the same time, he says later too that he still has his wall up too. Anthony's got to take that wall down brick by brick. He's got to like him and Denise skinny dipped in the pool. He gonna have to just jump in. He's gonna have to just jump in. Now I understand the step by step to the marriage, but as far as in a relationship thing, you gonna have to just take the dive.
But
you have to dive.
He didn't say it, but I just look at him being in the NFL sometimes, and I know Winter is different and maybe, but sometimes when you hurt people with you because you have money, or people with you because of your career, they're with you because they're not necessarily with you. You have walls that you put up, and so we don't know what the relationships in the past were like. That's probably why he has a wall up, because everybody who was saying they was with him wasn't with him for a genuine relationship. They were with him for what he could give to them, or what he bring them along with. Now he's in a genuine relationship with a woman that he likes, and who likes him back. And she said that and Winter said in her little cutaway, she's trying to help Anthony become more vulnerable. She can see he's trying to be vulnerable, but he needs to make more steps.
And so Anthony takes his leave, and Keisha and Winter talk some more, and she says she really... Wait, let me go back, though. When she talked to him, she said she liked his laugh and his vibe, and he's cool peoples, and she said, you know what? You invited to the cookout.
Yeah.
You're invited to the cookout, off top. Cool peoples. We invite you to the cookout. And so, again, Keisha's like, I'm feeling him. He's nice. She likes him a lot. And she says he seems like he's in a place where he's open to love and eventually marriage or whatever. And Winter says, I've kissed you, girl, sister, you my sister. I've kissed a lot of frogs in the past. So I'm hoping that this one will turn into a prince.
Hoping this one turns into a prince. She's honest about, I've said this in many videos. Winter's doing all her grown woman stuff. She knows what she wants. She knows where she made her mistakes at. She knows what she dealt with. She knows what she does not like. And she knows what she does like. And Anthony's what she like. And she wants to put all her time and invest it in Anthony. And so she hopes Anthony is that Prince Charming and not that frog.
All right, so we go from Keisha, Winter and her sister Keisha meeting Anthony to Calfani. And we get to meet Calfani's parents, Gay and Ken.
Yeah, Calfani's parents come in and they get the chance to meet Adriana. We see both of them have the Adriana and Calfani kind of like a flower print type on, like a vibe they got going on. One thing I like about Calfani's parents, they seem like they're well respectful. They're much older. And as we get into it, you see how much of a family bond they have. His mom calls him Callie, and so he enjoys that. And but I think when he introduces her to his parents, and as he said in his cutaway, that's serious. That is a serious moment. I'm bringing my parents. It's one thing to bring your sibling, but to bring your parents to meet somebody that you think you love, or you're not 100% sure if they're going to choose you or not, that's a big step.
And so when Mom sees Adriana, she says, how you like Collie. And Adriana's like, he's awesome. She said when he first showed up, everybody was like wanting him. And Dad was like, yeah, that's what I was telling your mom. And Calfani has a little joke. He says, I was talking to my uncle. And he's like, Dad, I think it's the pheromones. Uncle said, we got them pheromones, them Ghanaian men, so men from Ghana, got them pheromones. It's irresistible. So he was like, that's what it was. They was turned on by the pheromones.
Yeah, he was. He was happy about that. Dad was like, really enjoying Adriana in a conversation and Calfani. They think they're... And Mom really enjoyed it too because, like you said, Adriana was well respectful. She was nice. She came over there and gave Mom a hug. How you doing? and it was a respectful and a mutual respect when she met them. So I think the first impression was good.
Mm-hmm. And so Mom did take time to ask her, how do you feel about the fact that he has kids?
Yeah.
And, you know, we got a big family. And they shared that their family gets together all the time.
Yeah.
They meet for meals all the time.
Yeah, after church, especially on Sundays.
Yeah, and so Adriana said, you know, that's something she's not really used to. She's used to her family's smaller, and they usually just get together on special occasions or holidays. But she says, you know, she's cool with it. She want to have a big family, like she said before. She, you know, she wants to have her the sons or whatever, and they really thought that Adriana was sweet. Mom said she was very nice.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad said she answered the questions well. And what his dad said was that when you have a clean heart, it comes across.
Yeah.
And he said that she had a positive energy. Like, you know, when that's who you are on the inside, it'll come out. And so they really saw that.
Yeah.
They didn't feel like she was putting on airs or anything.
And that's what it was. She was genuine when she had conversation with him. You can tell she wasn't holding anything back, and that the conversation she was having, and what she was trying to put forth to them was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read that. When somebody's being genuine with you, you understand and you realize they're being genuine.
Yeah. So on the flip side, we see, like we said, Rashid said before, you know, for a girl to meet my family, like I have to be like all the way in it, like really serious or whatever. And so we find out that Rashid's sister's not there. He didn't call her down, but he does have a video call with her. And, you know, he talks about that again. He didn't want his sister or Adriana to get caught up in the process if it wasn't going anywhere.
Right, if it wasn't going anywhere. And I totally understand that. That's some grown man stuff again. Why go through all this if I don't even know if she's going to be with me? Why bring you down here? We go through this whole conversation if she, at the end of the day, goes with Kalfani. And so I'm putting you through some unnecessary stress. I'm putting her through some unnecessary stress. And I'm putting myself through some unnecessary stress. Because at this point, Rashid is having some mixed emotions, having some mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm. And so he talks to his sister Tiffany. And, you know, he tells her about what's going on with Adriana. You know, we were hitting it hard at first, you know, hitting it off hard at first.
Yeah.
And then, you know, another guy came into the picture and he feels like he's kind of gone from courting her to chasing her. Mm-hmm. And he's not really too much for the chase. He's like, you know, if I'm trying to chase you and pull you back from somebody, he was like, I'll just leave the process. I don't really feel like doing that. And, you know, in saying that to Tiffany, you know, she basically tells him, go with your gut. If that's what your gut is saying, you know, trust your gut and go with it. But, you know, Rashid was like, you know, I didn't want to bring you here because of the process that we're still in. I'm not, like, super serious about her. Don't know where she is. But he does say, you know, even though you're not here, would you be willing to talk to her in this setting, you know, on a video call?
My sister like, nah. Tiffany was like, nah, I don't want to talk to her, because I don't want to, not in her words, but I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to convolute anything. I don't want to put any more stress. Again, as I mentioned earlier, no more stress and no more confusion in the situation. But also, you know, like what she said, women have their intuition, and the guys have some too. Mm-hmm. And that's why she was telling them, look, go with your gut, whatever you feeling. You know if it's right or not. You know if she's still in love with you or not. You know if she's gone on to move on with the other guy or not. So go with your choice. Go with your feeling.
Mm-hmm. And so that's where we leave it with Rashid. Mm-hmm. Tiffany's telling him go with his gut. And like he said, I feel like I'm going from courting her to chasing her. And I ain't trying to chase nobody.
Nah, not trying to chase.
I'd rather just remove myself from it. That was his last word, and we'll see that come back. So then we see Anthony's sister and he proclaims her as his BFF. His sister Tanya shows up, and they are like excited to see each other. Oh my gosh, I've been missing you. You know, I thought it was real cute, brother and sister thing. Yeah,
they show love, and she's happened to be his older sister, so you know that's one of the things that's there too.
Yeah, we find that out in a minute.
Yeah, we find out in a minute, but you know. They have a good relationship, and when you have a sibling that can see something objectively, I think that's good. Mm-hmm.
And so her first question to Anthony is, so is she single? Is she like super single like you?
Right.
Like, you know, you've been Mr. Super Single. Is she super single? And he shares that Winter's been married before. And that where she is in the process, he's trying to get there from his super single type of thing. That he's just the way he speaks about Winter. His sister's like, man, like I haven't heard you talk about somebody like that before. Yeah. I could tell you really feeling her.
She see him lights up. He lights up in the way he describes her, and he's excited about it. He has energy about it. That's a flat news. Like, if you talk about your mate or your spouse or your relationship with the person you're in a relationship with, and they don't have any energy, you might want to check that. You might want to ask them, why don't you have any energy talking about that person or elaborating about them? That's where you can tell how the relationship is going if the person has energy when they speak of their person in the relationship with their name.
Yeah.
Or talk about them.
He spoke very highly of Winter, and Tanya noticed it for real. And so then Miss Winter shows up, and I thought that was a cute little girly moment that, she sees Tanya, and Tanya sees Winter. Was like, oh my God, girl, you are gorgeous. And Winter was like, so are you, queen? Yes. Come through with the come through. Right. They were real complimentary of each other. And that's when Winter's like, so you're Anthony's oldest sister? And Tanya was like, nah, sis, calm down. You're doing the most. You're doing the most. But yeah, I am his oldest sister.
Right.
So I thought that was a cute little interaction between the two of them. But Tanya asks Winter, so what brought a beautiful queen, beautiful, gorgeous woman like you into this process? And Winter shared, as she has before, that I've just had a problem picking the wrong guys. She didn't say it there, but she said before, I pick guys that are emotionally unavailable. And so she wanted something different. And so that's why she came into the process.
And she realized she got something different with Anthony. That's why she chose it. It was something different. And we go look at the Winter's process. She had Edwin early. She had Jay early, and then you had Anthony. And then, if you look at all three of them, they are very different men on the spectrum that was there. And Jay is more of a serious business guy. And business guy. You had Edwin, who is an entrepreneur but has some issues that he has to deal with, and you're not trying to be the counselor. And then you have Anthony, who makes her laugh and smile and enjoys having fun with her. And that's what she wants. She wants somebody to have fun and enjoy and to relax and understand who she is.
Yeah. And so Tanya asked, well, Anthony's been claiming he's been super single. That's it. That was his title. I'm super single. How you feeling about that? And they basically was like, I'm willing to work with him and continue to go through this process. And because Tanya was like, he be calling me for advice and all like that. And so I'm ready for him not to be super single or for somebody else to take it over because I'm tired. He asked me too many questions. I'm ready to let somebody else take it over.
Throw him off on winter. Like, oops, we done. Here's your bags. By the time you come back home, you move.
But in a good way, throw him off, So Tanya says to Winter, do you have any questions for me? And so Winter's question is, if Tanya feels that Anthony is ready to love and have a serious relationship.
And what Tanya says was, I never heard my brother basically talk about anybody like this. And he talks about you highly. He's happy when he's around with you. So I do believe that he is ready to love.
Yeah, and she said, before that though, she says, God only knows for definite. But I can tell you, based on from what I see, I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is, because I've never seen him like this. I think he's ready to go, ready to love. And she lets Anthony know, I like seeing this side of you, Anthony. After they have their interaction with Winter and she leaves, she's like, I really like this side of you. So she bringing out something different. So
she's bringing out something different in him.
Yeah, and Winter says that she is ready. Anthony says he's never been in love before, and she says she's ready to walk into that role. I'm ready to be his first love. I can handle it. And I think she can.
I think she can handle it too. I think she will guide him and lead him into that part. And as long as they stay together and the longer they have relationships and conversations and communicate, I think they'll be able to go into that love situation.
And so, let's see. Calfani in between has a talk with Adriana and shares that his parents liked her. She explained to him, just like she did Rashid, that Rashid and Calfani are different. It's just a different kind of vibe. She can't really explain what it is. With Calfani, that's so different from Rashid. It's just she just has a different feeling when she's with both of them. But Calfani said that his parents liked her, and she was happy about that. Yeah, Calfani was happy about it too.
That's the thing. She's telling Calfani. She's being consistent when she's telling both guys. She's being honest. She's not lying to anybody. She's really at this point split down the middle. She doesn't know which way to go. But Pop's coming in to figure that out for him.
Yeah, man. Before we get to that, though, I will say that Calfani and Anthony, they're working out, and while they're working out, they have a chance to talk about the family dates that they already had. And Anthony said he still feels the same about Winter, but he does acknowledge that he's been guarded with his heart. And he's feeling the pressure. He's still saying, I'm not trying to be rushed. I don't want to be rushed. And, I'm feeling the pressure. And Calfani was like, bruh, be careful because pressure busts pipes.
Yeah. And I sat there watching, like, what kind of pressure you feel? Like, yo, dog, you already committed to her. It's two of you. You told Denise to go home, so what pressure do you have? No one's asking you to get married tomorrow.
Right.
No, they're asking, are you ready?
Fall in love tomorrow.
Are you ready for love? Are you willing to date this person and get to the point where you can grow and maybe it turn into that? So when he said, I'm feeling the pressure, like, what pressure are you feeling? You have no choice. You already know who you're going to pick. Is it the pressure that I don't know if I'm going to stay with Denise? I mean, I'm not going to stay with Winner or go with Winner. Come on, dog. You already committed to it.
Yeah, I know he's feeling the pressure of, like, I don't want to be pressured to fall in love. I want to be pressured for this to be love. I want it to just happen. But, I mean, you're going to have to, if he doesn't give her some kind of level of commitment when it comes to that, then she's right back in the place where she was dealing with an emotionally unavailable man.
But I think he's already said that he's going to give her that he's committed to that. He's committed to being with her. He's committed to being in that relationship. And he's committed to giving it to her. Now he just has to be consistent with it.
All right. So we see Rashid meeting with Adriana again, and we're back to the same thing. He's sharing with her and talking about the fact that he doesn't want to force anything. After he talked to his sister, I think he really been mulling it over. And Tiffany, his sister said, go with your gut.
Yeah.
And so he's been, really thinking about it. So he talks to Adriana. And his thing is, I don't want to force anything. Again, I feel like I'm going from courting to chasing you. That's not where I want to be. If you don't want to be here, I'm not going to run you down and try to pull you back into it. I'm just not going to do that. So I'd rather just eliminate myself. And Adriana's like, man, I feel like you're not sticking it out. You're not fighting for me. And not to bring this in, but she was like, when I was talking to Calfani knew where me and you were in the first place. But he was like, I'm still going to put my bid in and go strong for it. I know it's two of us in the running, but I'm still going, kind of vie for your heart. And Adriana was like, kind of encouraging Rashid, don't give up. And he was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to stick in there.
But I like what he said, though. And he was like, you know what? It's okay if I'm being critiqued. He took the criticism. He didn't buck up and catch an attitude, but he took the criticism, which was going on from her, saying, you know what? I don't feel like you're doing justice with me. I need you to stay here. I need you to stick around. I need you to allow me to figure this out. So we can, if it's us, we can work it together. If it's not us, then you can move on. And he wanted to answer right then and there. She wasn't ready to give that answer.
Right. But she did share that she's excited about her dad coming. Yeah. And asked Rashid, are you willing to still meet with my dad? And he said he was.
Yeah, he
said, I'll still meet with him. And so, next thing we see, Adriana's dad shows up. And she's talking about how she has a very close relationship with her dad.
Yes.
And he's always ready to be a guide for her and step in and
be what a father's supposed to be. Guide the direction for his young daughter. I mean. He's fine.
Yeah, so she said in this, she said, Dad, I want to see the dad side of you.
Right.
But I do want to see the doctor side too, because we got two sides going on. And she was like, Dad, in this, I'm going to need both sides. And what she said was...
Boy, did he bring both sides out.
But what she says is, with the therapist side of him, and even the dad side is, maybe he'll see some red flags that I didn't really see before. Or, help me understand something that I may have noticed.
But that's a good point, though, because sometimes we need people from the outside to see what we don't see because we're so caught up in the relationship in the midst of the fight. I look at it as a boxer and with a cornerman. A boxer, the guys in the corner see what the boxer don't see. And so I think that was key there, that Dad comes in, he's looking at things, and we'll see later on that he saw some things that Adriana didn't see.
And so she was like, I'm excited for you to meet the guys that I'm talking to. And Dad says, well, here's one right now. And that's when Calfani walks up. And they're inside just like on the couches. Rashid, they meet at the pool table. But off top, Dad is very exchanges pleasantries with Calfani.
Yeah.
But he was like, man, let's get to it, okay?
Yeah,
so what are your hobbies? And Calfani was like, well, I like traveling and bodybuilding. Dad was like, okay. And so then we flipped. I told my husband, I was like, man, this back and forth is throwing me. But then we see him talking to Rashid. And so for Rashid, he had a question. What was the one thing that attracted you to Adriana? And Rashid was like, it was her smile. Yeah. It was her smile. She got this bright smile. It just disarms you and brings you down.
And brighten up your day.
Yeah. And so then we flip back to Calfani. And man, I'm trying to tell you, Daddy James is giving them the business.
He is interrogating them guys like his daughter's 16 years old. So he's asking every question possible. He asks church questions. He asks psychologist questions. He asks therapist questions.
What makes you a human? What do you do when life throws you a curveball?
What's your favorite? What do you think this scripture in Genesis means?
about cleaving, leaving your mother and father and cleaving to your wife. What you think that means?
But this is what you saw with Adriana, and I don't know if people picked up. She was that little girl again when Daddy was talking. She was trying to, as Dad was talking, she's trying to interject, and she's hiding like, well, Dad, he did finish the scripture. He was saying it as well. She was kind of hiding when Dad was dealing with what he was trying to deal with.
But what she said too was that she was actually kind of trying to temper it a little bit because she could feel the heat too, and she was trying to ask, get in between there because her dad was asking her hard questions and she was trying to kind of lighten the mood.
He wasn't ready for that.
Man, Dad was going in.
He was ready for that. He was ready to go in. He wanted to know which one of you guys, after you leave this 10-week process, is going to be good for my daughter to love.
Yeah. And so he liked the fact that Calfani said, when life throws me a curveball, I rely on my spirituality. Well, what does your spirituality mean? He said that means getting on my knees and praying. And him and Rashid vibed on the fact that they both went to HBCU. Yeah. Dad played free safety for football.
Yeah, he went to Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, and Rashid went to Alabama A&M. And Calfani's like, I know he's trying to psychoanalyze me, but I'm going to make it through this.
I'm going to make it through.
And so he asked both guys, what's the 10 top things that's most important to you? So we kind of heard some of this, a little bit of similar things where she was like, her love, somebody's love for God, love for children, travel and self-care. And Calfani was like honesty, trust, respect, and consistency and stuff. And Rashid said, man, he's throwing these questions at me. He said, but I'm good. I handled it like a ninja. I was dipping it. I was dipping and stuff. So, I think
he was trying to catch him up, though. He wanted to know again. He would try to trip them up, and even some of the questions. The question that got him, well, what does it feel like being a human being? Like, what you mean, dog? We both human.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I'm good being a human. What else? I ain't never been nothing else but human.
Right.
I ain't been no dog. I ain't been no cat. I ain't been nothing. I've been human. So he was trying to, hit him with the okie doke.
Yeah. Even to the point where, he got so many questions. Calfani was like, well, sir, it was nice to meet you and everything, but I got a meeting I got to attend to. Adriana was like, man, we on this resort.
What kind of meeting you got, dog?
You ain't got no meeting, but that pressure was getting to him.
Started to bust that pipe.
And so they leave Adriana and her dad to talk. And Adriana's like, Dad, I want to know
Yeah.
what was your impression? And they leave it at that. We don't know what Dad said. But next thing we know, she's meeting with Rashid.
And
we were like, man, this not looking good.
If you watch the show, you know what time this is. When they meeting underneath a gazebo and doing that, you know what time. And the way that she was looking and her somber mood, she was saying like,
yeah, she was like, oh man, like this is so hard. And Rashid was like, just say it. Go ahead and say it. And he asked how you feel, and she was like, I feel okay, I guess. And he was like, well, what's
the demeanor?
Just let me know what's going on. And she said at first she felt like they were matched. That they were good to go. They knew each other from before the show. So it was like, yeah, she ghosted them. And it was like they were kind of still building on that thing, which they had hit it off before.
Right.
So I guess it was easy for her to fall into this. And she said, but her dad, he noticed there was great things about Rashid. And she hated that it was not as strong as they had started off. Yeah. And so Dad said, he's a good guy, nice guy. He answered the questions well. Seems like a good stand-up guy. Maybe good for you. But the one thing I noticed was I didn't see the chemistry.
I didn't see the chemistry that was there. And we remember earlier they had chemistry.
Right.
Everybody know, like they were really together. What happened was Calfani came in, and Rashid, I don't know, to me it seemed like she started spending more time with Calfani. The way they produced it or the way they showed it. And that Rashid wasn't getting his time. And I guess when he did get his time, he could feel that she was no longer the same Adriana she was day one, happy for Rashid to be there. Yeah. And that was the feeling he got.
Yeah. And so Rashid just gives her, I hate to say give her permission, but she was kind of holding back like, I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, just go for it. Just go ahead and say it. And she said, I'm going to go with Calfani. I'm going to go with Calfani. And Rashid said, I could tell it was coming from a genuine place. She really wasn't trying to be mean about it or spiteful or anything. Like, it ain't you. I'm going with somebody else.
It doesn't make it easier when it comes from a mean place or a genuine place. It still came from a place that, you know what, you're not the winner. Or in this case, you don't get me. And you don't, I'm the prize, but you don't get me.
Right. She said she felt really bad about having to let him down. Because he's an awesome guy. It's not anything he did, but he just didn't make her feel like Calfani does.
Yeah, and she loved the big chocolate arms around her.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think a lot of it just came down to it was a familiarity and being comfortable with Rashid. It was something that she had known before, and so instead of trying to kind of start fresh, they just kind of started where they picked up where they left off.
I think a lot of it was too that she wanted to see what it could have been. What it could have been. If I had never ghosted him, what could have been? How could we have furthered this relationship? Could we have not been on this show? And I think when she got with Calfani, I think she said it on episode 2 or 3, she was like a high school girl all over again. She felt giddy. She felt alive. She felt like, he makes me laugh. He makes me joyous. And again, Rashid, you handle your grown man stuff. Basically, you take care of the bills. You do everything that a grown man. So Rashid, Calfani makes me enjoy being in the moment.
Yeah, it was all butterflies and rainbows. All right, so she let Rashid down pretty easy. Yeah. So we know where it's going next. But first we see Winter and Anthony meet.
Yeah.
And she's waiting for him, though. It's like, I hope he shows up. And of course he does. Why wouldn't he show up? And she says to him, I question if he's fully committed to the idea of falling in love. And he says, I'm a romantic person.
Yeah.
I can show that side. And I know I have a wall up, but I'm all in. I'm committed to stick there with it. And when I'm in, you're going to see all of that from me. The romantic side, you're going to see all of that from me. And I know it's crunch time, but I'm willing to put it in. And so when they meet up and he shows up, he said they've had an adventurous journey. It's been an adventurous one. And so she says, well, are you ready to love? But also I want to know, are you ready to love me?
And he was like, yeah, I'm ready to love.
A resounding yes.
A resounding yes, I'm ready to love you. And I like Winter, she's quick. Are you ready to love you? He would have said yeah. But no, I mean, are you ready to love me? Nobody else, but are you really ready to love me? So no, let's not make it specific to me.
Uh-huh.
And I think Anthony got that hint.
Yeah, so they own it popping.
We're a couple now.
They own it popping.
They're a couple
now. All right, so then we see Calfani says Adriana asked him to meet her on the dock.
Yeah.
He kind of nervous, like, I don't know what's getting ready to go on. And so she shows up and she lets Calfani know, I broke it to Rashid that, I'm not going with him. And so Calfani's like, what that mean? What that mean, girl? You know what it mean. I'm choosing you.
And he was happy. He was ecstatic. He was excited. He was like, what?
Yeah. And she said, besides me choosing you, she said, I'm happy that you chose me. Because I know all the ladies wanted King Calfani. Everybody was feeling it. So she was like, but out of all of them, you gravitated and picked me. And so
Not because she was able to build a relationship. Right. I mean, because think about the ones, everybody who liked him, he was able to build a relationship with Denise, but something happened. Adriana happened, but also Denise not being able to maintain her anger control, her jealousy. Uh-huh. And that was a big, like I said, that's a big turnoff for him.
Yeah. But they're in a good space. Adriana says, I feel like this is a moment where I want to pinch myself I can't believe it's real.
Yeah.
So, it ends with both the couples getting on the boat ride that Tommy has set up, and they kind of ride off into the sunset on the boat.
And I think with them, riding off into the sunset on the boat, it shows closure for this episode for the most part, for the episodes. We ain't talking about the reunion, but it shows closure for the episodes that, you know what, the least likely of people, because nobody would have thought Anthony from day one would have been able to with Winter. Nobody would have thought that Calfani would have ended up with Adriana. You would have thought Denise, you would have thought Alicia, you would have thought somebody different. But it shows you how in this 8-week, 10-week experiment, how things with the transfer and transition. Into what, Calfani happy. He's excited, he's enjoyable. He likes who he's with. So
as do Winter and Anthony.
And so does Winter and Anthony. And we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, so we're excited. They say, to start off, they wanted to end up with 3 couples. But Tommy said, when they went through all the transition, he said if we only end up with 1 or 2 couples, as long as something's solidified, they're fine with that. But for real, though, we feel like they still ended up with 3 couples because, Jay went to support Joy. That's a couple, even though they're not there. We feel like that's a couple. And then we got Winter, Anthony, and Calfani and Adriana.
You wasn't gonna vote Joy or Jay off. You know what I'm saying? Or get rid of them when you go down to the top 4. The right people went home based off the episode because there was already 3 couples who found love. You already had Anthony and Winter. You already had Joy and Jay, and you already have Calfani and Adriana. So you did get your 3. You just didn't get the 3 on the TV.
Right. So we're excited to see what's going to happen at the reunion. To see if Winter and Anthony are still together, if Calfani and Adriana are still together. And if we're going to see, and of course, Joy and Jay, which, like we said, we feel like, they're together. I think that's obvious. And then see maybe some cross-matching like it was on the last season.
On the previous episode, if somebody who got eliminated met with somebody else who got eliminated, and then next thing you know, start doing relationships and start having fun. We're going to find out if somebody's pregnant or not on next week's episode.
Oh, yeah, somebody's supposed to be pregnant. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Tommy goes with that. It's going to be interesting to see the answers. Hey, it's going to be Ready to Love. It was a good season.
It was. We enjoyed reviewing it, too. It was good reviewing it.
It was good reviewing
we hope y'all enjoyed it.
Hope y'all guys enjoyed it. Well, once again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure you leave your thoughts on this Ready to Love finale. Do you like the couples? Do you think the couples that still stayed and made up? Do you think they will last until the reunion? I guess we'll find out next week if the couples stay together.
We'll find out. Yeah, and it's a 2-part reunion. I was saying, for one, I don't want to wait till next week to see the reunion. And then with it being 2 parts, I hope it's 2 hours. I don't want to wait from one Friday to the next Friday, but I think we might have to.
You have to wait. I think you're gonna have to wait. I think you have to wait from one Friday to the next Friday because I think there's gonna be a lot they're gonna try to cover. There's gonna be a lot they want to try to deal issues they want to deal with, and I don't think you get finished in that time frame.
Yep.
Plus, they can stretch it out, give Owen some more content.
But thanks again for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the review. We'll see you next time.
And make sure you check out our Married at First Sight review. Married at First Sight.
Coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.